My name is Patrick, and I wanted to start a channel where I could share what has been my personal journey and experiences on what I consider to be what we often call a spiritual life, but what is really, it occurs to me, as really just life. Life trying to be lived in a natural, authentic way, an intuitive way, and a way where I often make decisions guided by conscience. You know, maybe emotion or energies sensed and felt that flow through the body, that are responses maybe to the environment, but that also just tend to occur spontaneously, naturally, and sometimes flow with the direction of the rest of my life and other people in my life, and quite frankly sometimes flow against it, or I don't want to say against it, not with it though. I mean, occasionally make intuitive, spontaneous decisions that arise naturally from within me, but may not be in alignment with the intentions or motivations of my working environment, or family environment, or even relationship. Anyway, so as I sat down to make this video today, one of the first things that happened that I thought was very interesting was I suddenly felt kind of a tension, a nervousness, feeling like there is so much to say, and yet right in the moment that I sat down and turned on the computer and the light, suddenly there was tension, and there was a kind of a freezing up, and several people talk about this as a constriction of consciousness, tension being constriction. And I really like that. I really like that metaphor. It almost feels literal, but it definitely applicable. Definitely applicable, because when I get tense, it does feel like, like a closing up, and it feels like a restriction of flow, uh, and a resistance. I feel resistance in those moments. So I just had to sit and work on acknowledging that and relaxing into that before I felt comfortable enough to start speaking. And that's so that's what I decided to engage with, is just the importance of acknowledging tension in the body and easing into it, easing through it, allowing it to relax. This is a really effective meditation or pre-meditation technique, or practice is another word. For me, it feels necessary. It feels like a mandatory function of movement into a meditative state. Often I'll sit down. I have a meditation cushion, and I have a spot that's very comfortable for sitting, that I can use for long periods should I feel like sitting for long periods. But regardless of whether I'm sitting in a chair, in the car, on the cushion, or some other place, that is the first step for me, is just becoming aware of the body, I guess what some people call the energy body, but just kind of shifting awareness from, awareness feels like, often it feels like it's here, like it's somehow kind of stuck behind the eyes, or behind this in this temple region. And so much of our perceptions and our daily experience feels like it's filtered, then through this area. And so it's not not what it's not. It is a version of allowing this this kind of clinging, or this kind of holding on of this positionality, to just kind of relinquish a little bit, to loosen, to relax, and then allow part of this to just move about and flow through. Because it's not a thinking process. It's an allowing. It's kind of like an allowing, a listening and allowing of what is making noise in the body, what is speaking to me, what is talking to me, just simply through an energetic tension. And it's subtle, it's very subtle, and it can be pain in the body. As I've described many times, or several times, it can be this tension. It can be a feeling of the constriction or restriction. It could be an itch. I mean, it could be a number of sensory feelings or experiences. Just something like we have these stories we tell ourselves about our physical body. Oh, I have this, bad knee, or bad shoulder, or elbow, or something. And those parts of our body are communicating with us. And that story reinforces that bodily communication. And this is a way of just listening for any and all communication coming through the body, from the body. It feels like it comes from the body. So that's I guess my pre-meditation is just getting very comfortable in whatever position, almost always sitting, but other people meditate in different ways. Sometimes people lie down, knees up, or resting on a like a pillow backrest. Whatever your method is, so long as, well, for me, I prefer a position that encourages an awake, alert state, which is why I prefer the sitting up, the straight spine, and often, not always, but often, cross-legged with hands just kind of folded or resting, fingers interlocked. Although there are a lot of different hand positions, a lot of different hand positions that are represented in ancient cultures or religions, or have different meaning for different people. Okay, I mean, whatever you find kind of personally effective, or helps you to connect to something. Often the meditative state or meditative practice for people is a connection to some kind of spiritual lineage. And great. I mean, that's if that is a functional, I like to think of what is kind of productive or functional. And I don't try to put a lot of emphasis on spirit or consciousness in terms of I don't go into it with certain goals. I usually want to go into it with a very wide kind of allowing mindset, and that's why the first place I like to start is bodily awareness, and just allowing part of the awareness that feels like it's kind of stuck or hooked on in this head and eye area. Just allow it to gently kind of flow through the body, listening to the body for any places of tension, or, as I've described, constriction, restriction, or just something that feels like it's a point that feels like it's talking, communicating. A lot of the body, I mean, it all communicates in a very subtle way, because the nervous system is always active in a very quiet, subtle way. But some parts of it tend to speak a little louder than other parts. And that's where I start. Acknowledging that, not with a thought, not with any, mental words, but just gracing it with attention, and then continuing to move the attention. And I have been to Vipassana, and I incorporate those techniques. I've listened to other teachers, meditators, Adyashanti, with his true meditation, a listening meditation, and I incorporate some of those techniques. And, maybe I can speak on that more in the future, but it's just not something to overthink. I haven't found any benefit to overthinking or overanalyzing the meditation process. All right, so with that, I'll wrap it up, and until next time, thank you very much for joining me, and wish you much wealth, health, blessings, and benevolence.